Well, good Thursday afternoon. It's Thready Thursday, the day I'll be working on my cross stitch stuff live stream. I'm doing something with this one that I don't normally do because it scares me. I've shared before about my constant losing of needles, but I have loaded this with all of the needles that I have. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this one, already loaded with their threads. And then there's one here already loaded. And then I have 4 that I've already emptied, or excuse me, 3 over here that I've already emptied that I will thread up when I move to the next section of the project. I do realize that I started a couple minutes early, but I was just sitting here staring at my computer, just waiting for the countdown, and figured why bother waiting. So this part of the project, you can starting to see the outline. The tree is coming in. I think one of the trickiest parts for me with cross stitching is wrapping the brain around the concept. When you look into a sky, we typically only see blue or some shades of blue. But when you are cross stitching, it brings into the reality that what we see is not what's real. So there's lots of purples and grays and shades of blue all mixed into the sky that in the big picture makes it look like the sky. So currently doesn't look like there's anybody watching, so I'm just going to start stitching. I will keep an eye on the chat and see if anybody pops in. Because of some issues that I had on Tuesday, I do now have some moderators assigned. So hopefully at least one of them shows up for this stream, just in case I end up needing them. If not, I will do my best to deal with the trolls if they come in. I just got to figure out where I left off last night. Let's see, that one. So that's there. I don't normally end a project like this leaving one color finished. I'll usually stitch until the color is completely gone, because at the moment I'm even struggling to remember what color this is. It's letter I. But yeah, I usually will finish out a color that I'm working on, just so I don't encounter that when I return to the project the next day. But I kind of fell asleep sitting at my craft table last night, so I figured it was probably best not to try arguing with my body at that point. So I just went to bed and paid it no more mind. Glad I did find one of my needle threaders, which is nice. I don't have to fight with the needle and thread quite as much as I was having to. Meow. I miss Luna Kitty. Meow. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Meow. My kitty is is being very affectionate today, which is a little different for her. She sleeps with us at night, and so she's usually really cuddly and affectionate while we're trying to go to sleep. But during the day, she wants nothing to do with us. But today, she is like all up in my space. Not sure what the deal is. Now, I still need this color somewhere else in the pattern, but I'm up here, and where I need it again is way down here. And I don't want to carry the thread that entire way, so I'm going to pin stitch it off, and then I'll start it back up down below. I also need to get my elbow pad, my elbow towel out onto my table. Oh, my scissors are getting dull. So it's nothing special. It's just the same towel that I use for my junk journaling. So it's all covered in various inks. But I just set it on the table so I have something to set my elbow on. My elbow on. So it's not just sitting against the hard table. I am getting messages on my phone right now. Which really doesn't work for me considering my phone is up in the stand doing the recording right now. So I have no idea who's messaging me. Here. So currently I'm not really getting a whole lot of participation as far as the live chats go. And I'm beginning to wonder, well, not beginning, I am wondering if it is the time that I'm choosing to go live, which is 1 o'clock Pacific Standard. So anybody that does catch this on a replay, if you can let me know in comments if there's a time that works better for you. It was suggested to me that I do a poll, but to the best of my knowledge, you can't put a poll on a pre-record. And if I don't have people coming into my live stream, there'll be nobody to answer the poll. So, and I don't have a community tab yet, so I can't put one there. So if you can just put in the comments whether there's a time that would work better for you than 1 o'clock Pacific Standard. I can make some adjustments with relative ease. Just during work hours, it has to be during, a normal 8 to 5 work hour. Because once my husband gets home, then I'm fighting the Wi-Fi with the PS4. And the PS4 usually wins. So once he's home, me doing a live stream is nearly impossible. So again, I came down here, I picked up those 5 stitches of this color. that one. And then there's this one down here that's the same color. 3. That was a little bit of a distance, but oh, almost unthreaded my needle. It literally was kind of maybe half a needle length, whereas this one from here, going from here all the way down to here, would have been almost a full needle. I personally don't like to carry my threads that far, which is why I ended it the last time. And this one could be tied off again. So rather than flipping the canvas to the back and threading threading the tail under previous stitches to end it off, I'm ending it with a pin stitch. There are instances where I will still flip the work over, but I prefer not to do that, especially when I'm using a frame. Because in order to flip it, I have to untighten several different brackets in order to get the work turned over. So I will pin stitch as often as I can to avoid that. The pin stitch is very handy when you are stitching what's called a confetti stitch. It is a nightmare. It's literally like you have one stitch or one or two stitches, and then the next one's not till like down here. And then you've got another one over here. Well, if you're holding the tail and stitching a couple and then trying to thread back around under those same stitches in order to tie it off, you're creating a lot of bulk on the back. So if you learn how to pin stitch to start and stop, you're able to do confetti without building that bulk up on the back of your work. I'm still learning how to do that for confetti stitching. So I finished this needle off. I will stick it over there with the other ones. And the next one I have in line, which I almost just unthreaded, is a little squiggly line. It's kind of like a swirly, like almost like a snail shell. Just got to figure out where that one starts. So it's right. 1, 2, 3, right here. Where's the next one? There's not another one anywhere nearby, so this would be a good time for me to pin stitch for a single stitch. So I'm going to loop stitch start like I normally do because that's my favorite. Just got another message on my phone. I finished the cross stitch. And then you're going to pin stitch the same way, but you're going to go under the stitch that you just did. So you're going to come off to the side, splitting those threads, go down the center underneath your stitch, Come up on the other side of your cross stitch again, splitting those stitches. Go back down through the center under your stitches. My needle stuck. There we go. And then you're just going to come back up through the center. You can see it's very taut. It's crazy as simple as the pin stitch is at how effective it is at keeping your stitches in place. I was talking to somebody and they had commented that they could see me off to the side with a pen and they weren't sure what I was doing. So that is what I'm doing there is I am marking off on the paper pattern. So when you have a cross stitch, I know it's really hard to see, but everything's on a grid. So as you go, as you're stitching, if you're crossing it off, it's easier to kind of know where you're at. There's also a technique called gridding, Gridding, that I would normally do on a project this size. But to be quite honest, I had a brain fart. I forgot to do it. And then I was too lazy to take it back out of the hoop to do it. So I'm not doing it on this one. Gridding is really helpful on large projects because it helps you, if you see these dark lines here, these are marking off the 10 by 10 blocks. So if you grid 10 by 10, then you kind of have a much smaller graph to keep your eye on to know where you're at and located within the pattern. Going back and working on these kits. Well, I'm sorry you didn't get notified. The biggest downside for me in working through these kits is that I don't have access to the computer program that I've come to love. I don't have to do all of this. It's on a computer and I just tap when I finish stitches. But it is way too complicated for my brain to import my own file. And then you have to like tweak and adjust and there's way too many steps. And I'm like, forget it. It's not worth it. What time do you drop E off at school or pick E up? Oh, is she coming with you? At 2:40. Is she coming with or are you dropping her off at Jay's? Okay. That's what I thought. I was surprised. I was like, wait a minute. I thought she was staying up there. Be an odd thing for her to miss school for since, she didn't know him. I'm going to mute for a minute so I can blow my nose. Well, and as you can see, I've been on here for 20 minutes and I've just pretty much been talking to myself. So I'm just kind of going at it like just a little tutorial, I guess. I am having some difficulties though. I keep getting lost in a way. I'm figuring out where the heck I'm at. Off to color T. Oh, I would love for her to read to me. I love when the little ones, start learning how to quote unquote read. They're kind of, they're what they're doing is they're reading pictures and putting their own story to it, which is like the greatest thing in the world to me to see. I love it. Yeah, after you and Minnie get here, well, you'll probably get here right before Dad gets home or very close to it. Um, but either way, once he's home, we're going to head into town and do some grocery shopping. Yes, she can read puppy love. Meow, meow. Lola kitty. It's almost like somebody whispered to her that I was going to get another kitty. And now she's all like up in my business. I am very bummed that, those babies ended up needing extensive medical care because I can't I can't get through them. I can't afford to adopt through that shelter. They are a spendy. Can help with the Lola attention. Yeah, she jumped up on the couch with me, was on my chest. I was able to give her a big ol' hug, which when was the last time you saw that happen? I was trying to drink my coffee and she kept sticking her face into my coffee. I'm like, you snot. And she keeps following me. She followed me into the craft room. Then she keeps leaving. And then she comes back to the door and just meows at me like, why are you in there? Why aren't you on the couch? Yeah, I think your dad's going to a car show or something tomorrow. Um, so he needs to get stuff for himself to take to eat. But we need stuff for the house, having a squirt here. So we need like juice and stuff like that. And since bonus came today, even though we just went out to dinner last night, we will probably just go out to dinner again tonight. Because by the time we get home, nobody's going to want to cook. Which is sort of fine with me. Well, just let me know when you're having to log off, sis. Since unless nobody else comes in, if nobody else comes in by then, I'll just end the broadcast at that point. Railroad. How's my pencil? I really need to figure out why my phone volume no longer turns off while I'm recording. Because it's really annoying to hear my own echo. Well, I know you can listen while you drive, but then I'm sitting here talking to myself. So as far as I'm concerned, if nobody else comes in, then I'll just end the broadcast. I'll go about my day. Or probably still sit my butt in here on my craft room and continue cross stitching in all reality, but at least until you guys get here. Oh yeah, I definitely appreciate the replay squad for sure. I mean, there's a role there too, and that was, I addressed them a little bit earlier too, as requesting that whoever watches on replay, they can let me know in the comments if there's a time that works better for them than this 1 o'clock spot. Oh, that would be great if you could find it. I'm hearing a bunch of thumping around outside my craft room. I'm wondering if hold that thought. Oh. I didn't realize Sharky started a half hour ago. He's in there trying to dock. Oh. And my phone just died. Ouch. So crazy to think how quickly a phone dies when you're doing this. So I gotta wait for my phone to boot back up. Or I suppose I could just end now since, like I said, nobody's live, and I don't want to sit here and talk to myself while you listen and drive. I don't leave an hour early anymore either, so one at least works for me. Did I miss something? Because it's 1:30 already. What are you talking about? Oh, my shark is having a heck of a time docking. It's like banging up against the wall trying to dock. I'm gonna try to line back up again. Oh, gotcha. I was like, I'm confused. I get 2% on my battery, so hopefully it's enough to power it back up. I'm gonna have to check the sensors on my shark. It's really struggling. I'm about to go in there and just put it on the dock myself. Oh, I hear ya. Back when I was doing the visitation stuff, I that was the worst place. I hated having to do pickups at the schools for that very reason. It'd be like, my visit wouldn't be scheduled until 3:20, but I'd have to be sitting in the school parking lot at noon just to be able to get a spot where I'd be able to get out. Otherwise, the kids would get out at 2:40, and I'd be sitting in the parking lot till 3:30 just trying to get out. And I'm like, well, they're late for their visit yet again. So I always had to get there like super early in order to. It finally docked. I'd have to get there super early so that I could park near the exit so that I'd be able to get out. And I'm like, I hated having to deal with picking up and dropping off at schools. Do 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 do. I swear it took it like 15 minutes to dock. I had to get up because I thought maybe Lola was chasing a mouse or something, as much, banging around that was going on out there. And it's like, no, it's just the shark going, nope, yep, nope, 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 not lined up, nope, let me try again. Darn thing. I'll go out and clean all its sensors off, and then hopefully it'll work a little better. I think I need to do like a major maintenance on like all of my electronics. Like my tablet's being stupid, my laptop is being stupid. My phone is being stupid. Ta-da! Let me mute the camera. Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably, after this live is over, I will probably shut my laptop down and run defrag on it. Wow, there's a lag. See what I'm talking about? It's crazy. I don't know what the deal is with my phone. It's sucking battery down like nobody's business. It's like it'd be 100% charged, and I take it off the charger, and within like 20 minutes, I'm down to 80%. And I haven't even touched my phone. I should have known to plug my phone in. Hi, Lola. Meow, meow, meow. Well, come here. Come here. Don't tell me no. sits in the doorway and meows at me. Meow. Come here. Lola Bean. Do you think now that the deal has fallen out on the kitten that I can still finagle a new one into the house? Dewey. Yeah, because he didn't tell me no. And he did thank me for telling him instead of just doing it without his permission. So I kind of have his permission, right? What, Lola? Oh my goodness gracious. Now, the general public that would be watching this on replay don't know that, but my kitty Lola, um, she is a shelter kitty, and she's normally not this affectionate, not this demanding. So I don't know what the deal is. Now, if it was Lily demanding my attention, I would be getting out my blood pressure cuff and my glucose monitor and my my oximeter. Is that what they're the pulse ox? And be like, all right, checking on my vitals. Because if she's all up in my face, it's usually because something's out of balance. She's my unlicensed, untrained medical alert dog. But the dog that was supposed to be my dog isn't my dog. None of them are my. See, I think so too. And I'm showing him the pictures of the kittens when she sent them to me when she first got them. And they're like all these different colors, and there's, solid tabbies and broken tabbies and, different shades and blah, 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 blah. And there was a black and white one. Can I take a guess which one your dad was like, get that one? I'm like, seriously, dude, what is your deal? A, with black cats, and B, with black and white animals. Do we not have enough? No, the little tiny black and white one. And yeah, she was cute. But I'm like, seriously? Another black cat? Oh, well, apparently my camera's going to shut off again. You'd pick the black and white one too? I think my phone was saying it didn't have enough juice to keep going. So I'm going to turn it off and let it sit and charge. To power off. It's pretty sad when you got to turn the light or cover your light so you can see what you're doing. Yeah, that's true. Your cats are all black too. But I'm like, why? Why? With so many different options, why yet another black cat? I don't understand. I think my house might just be screaming for attention in general. Like the shark is having trouble, the laptop is having trouble, the phone is having trouble. I think everything's just saying, hey, you better deal with me. Yep. Check your vitals. Yeah, I don't do mine so much anymore now that, I'm home and in a more controlled environment where I can, control my environment. So I'm not having as many episodes as I used to. So that's good. But, when the dog that normally wants nothing to do with you suddenly wants everything to do with you, it's big red flag, big red flag. How long ago did you drink the flavored water? I missed that message. So yes. If it's been an hour within the last hour and a half that you've had the flavored water or you're currently drinking it, then 128 would be normal. Yeah. Flavored water means there's sugar in it or some sort of sugar substitute. And the way Dr. Britt explained that to me when she was my doctor was that, you know, coffee and tea counts as your water intake unless you put stuff in it. So if you put like sugar, creamer, or lemon or anything like that in it, because once you do that, the brain switches it from a liquid to a food because it triggers a different digestive process, is what she said. So yeah, once you have tea with sugar in it, or water with flavoring, or coffee with creamer, you're no longer technically drinking. I mean, you're technically drinking a liquid, but it doesn't count toward your daily intake. That makes sense. It made sense when she explained it to me, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm not drinking enough fluid then. Now, if it's flavored, it's got some sort of sugar in it. When they say sugar-free, it just means it doesn't have real sugar. It'll usually have aspartame or Splenda or something along that nature. It's like people trying to say Diet Coke has no sugar in it. Yeah, I just had that thought in my mind. Can you imagine how bad diet soda would taste if it didn't have the sugar substitute in it? Although diet root beer is good. I always like diet root beer, but not anything else. Well, over the course of this entire time, I've had the watch count go up and down, but no more than 3. So I know a couple people have at least peeped it. We'll see what ends up happening with the replay crew. So I'm going to finish up these last 3 stitches and then get ready to end the stream. So tomorrow, I'm anticipating it being a pretty emotional day for me and my family. So I don't think that I'll be doing any kind of live streams. If I do, it would probably be in tribute to the person whose memorial we have tomorrow. But I'd have to clear that with the family first. I might come into somebody else's live tomorrow. I don't know. It just kind of depends how I end up feeling. Otherwise, again, replay crew, if you can leave in the comments what time of day seems to work better for you. Right now, I'm scheduling all my lives for 1 p.m. post Pacific Standard Time, and I'm looking for some alternative times that might work better and maybe increase my live viewership. So yeah, if you can leave that some information in the comments, that would be great. I also kind of need to know what you guys want to cover as far as mental health and physical health stuff. So please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. So hopefully you get the notifications when they come in. We all know that YouTube is pretty glitchy and sometimes they don't go out. In fact, I missed one this morning for somebody else. Actually, I missed 2 that didn't come out. So it seems like YouTube is having issues yet again today. But hit the subscribe bell anyway, and hopefully you'll start getting those notifications. Yeah, I do. We definitely need to do some on grief and loss, for sure. I'm just trying to think what's the best way to present that without it being triggering. So I've been holding off on that one a little bit, but all right, guys. Well, you guys have a good rest of the day. And sis, I'll see you in probably 2 hours or so. Well, she gets out at 2:40. So probably get her dropped off by 3 at the latest. So yeah, I'll see you about 4:30 probably. Drive safe, and I'll see you when you get here. Everybody else, have a good day. If I don't see you, have a good rest of your day and possibly rest of the weekend. Uh, Otherwise, I'll say hi when I see you. Thank you, and have a good time. Have a good time.